Hey guys, this is my first long format video on this channel. In the future I will mostly make videos about Dragon Ball and other manga drawings. Sometimes I will just do the drawings and other times I will do how to draw videos. The topic I chose for today is coloring. I made the linear before the start of the video from the original manga. First I lay down the basic colors on different layers. Sometimes I use grayscale at first and then do the coloring on top of it, but that's usually better for more realistic drawings. When I use this type of coloring you can see in this video, I make a different layer for the shadows on top of the base color one. After that I clip it to the base layer, and that way the shadows will only be seeable where the base layer has something on it. For the first shadows I just use normal layers, but for the darker ones and for the highlights I use other types too, like overlay, which is my favorite and mostly used one. After I've done with the shadows raw form I duplicate it. On the one below I use Gaussian blur, it gives a good 3D feeling and a beautiful gradient. On the upper layer I use the blur tool on the edges, it gives the drawing a good crisp and it looks much more like a real painting this way. When the first shadows are done, I start to make the darker tones. This is when I begin to use the other types of layers too. Usually, I use more than just a darker tone of the basic color. I use another color, or if I feel like that it's time, I use cold colors for warm bases and warm colors for cold bases. If the style can bear it, which is not always the case with manga style paintings, I use complementary colors. Orange looks good with blue, red good with green, and yellow with purple. After the shadows are done, I start to make the highlights, and in this case the yellow lighting on Goku's body because of his hair. Here I used some glow and hardlight layers, it makes the areas shiny, which looks good with Super Saiyan drawings. For the background I use light blue and dark blue and blend them together into a gradient. After that I draw some basic clouds and blend it into the blue. Lastly, I make the aura and the lightnings. I do nothing special here, I just use some techniques again you saw before. Multiple different types of layers and blur. A lot of blur. And our Goku is done. I hope you like this video. If you have any questions or critiques for me, please leave a comment.